Good afternoon, good evening, and namaste to all. As you all know, that it's 5th International Conference on World Mental Health Week 2024. And today, it's the second day of this conference. The speaker of today's session is our Honorable Respected Mr. Anthony Altman, sir, from Israel. It's great to meet you, sir. We heartily welcome you. And I'm very proud to introduce you that you are the clinical hypnotherapist, researcher, holistic life coach, philosopher, relaxologist, spiritual counselor, and therapist too. And today's topic for this conference is My Path Towards Enlightenment. Atma Gyan ki or Mera Marg. We are very excited to listen you, sir. I request you to inspire all of us with your experience and knowledge. Please proceed this session.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you very much, Tadisha. Thank you. I will continue. Hello and greetings to you all, wherever you may be on this beautiful planet of ours, our home, the third rock from the sun. My name is Anthony Altman, and my presentation today is entitled My Path to Self-Healing and Enlightenment. It is indeed my pleasure and honor to speak to you today about the process of self-healing and enlightenment. Now, I must also tell you that I am speaking from the northwest part of Israel in a war zone at the moment. We've got rockets flying over us and all around us with drones loaded with explosives, and our army here in Israel is doing its best to shoot them all down. I do not know if we will be affected if a bomb does fall on this house or near where I live and the electricity is disrupted. Then I will do my best to revert to my cell phone and reconnect with this live transmission, hoping that the telephone tower is still intact. I'm sure everything will be fine, but I just feel that I want to at least let you know the reason if something should happen like that. Well, I would also like to say that I have received information from various sources that inform me that mental illness is increasingly, seemingly in an exponential manner since the COVID pandemic. This should elicit two possible responses: to find the remedies for such and to ascertain why one became ill as a consequence. These responses will provoke what we can do to help ourselves, improve ourselves, heal ourselves, and develop more enlightenment within each one of us. I must also say that time is of the essence at this time because we are experiencing a global existential threat in addition to our individual health and consciousness challenges. My real job is to help inspire and motivate as many people as possible to take full responsibility for the reality they are experiencing, because that is what we created or we co-created individually and as a humanity. We are to empower ourselves by discovering our true and authentic selves. And we do this by developing more of our innate human potential and expressing more cosmic consciousness within each one of us. The evil that threatens us is based in darkness, and the only way to remove darkness is by bringing in more light. In this sense, I invite you to become an emissary of light and let our numbers increase exponentially, thereby ensuring our survival and to thrive as a more enlightened human community. I'm using my own life experiences as the means to share the information that you can also employ in order to accelerate and complete your own inner healing and set yourself on course to embody more consciousness, leading you to your own state of enlightenment. While I'm still developing my greater potential, I feel, nevertheless, that I have made sufficient progress to enable me to share my experiences with you. This is my third talk for the annual Divya Karuna World Mental Health Conference, and today I wish to address the issues of mental health, mind health, physical health, and overall well-being in a manner that may seem to be rather different as the title of this talk suggests. Self-healing is that approach whereby the person is sufficiently self-empowered to invoke and pursue their own healing, even with the assistance of others. Such a person is less likely to give their personal power away to another person or some other thing. Enlightenment is that state whereby your body, mind, heart, and soul are infused with divine light, whereas there are no more dark corners or shadows in your mind, heart, and soul. This, then, is my perception of such a journey, which, no matter the degree of success, every step on that path brings the desired benefits of good mental health and increased well-being. Most of the causes, if not all of the causes of mental ill health and lack of well-being can be issues relating to the mind and the soul apart from the body, which in many cases, and if not all, can have their origins within the mind and soul. If the mind is involved, then I look at the causes, providing avenues that can offer effective remedies. The same applies to issues connected to the soul, which includes karma, and this element is rarely addressed by conventional therapies. Developing the whole being, body, mind, and soul, and resolving issues that have hitherto been ignored or neglected is the way I wish to share the information in this talk. Thus, I feel it is incumbent upon me to discuss the benefits of focusing on enlightenment as a possible means to help bring back homeostasis to our physical state, mental state, the state of our mind, and to manifest a much greater sense of well-being in our lives. So, I am pleased to invite you to join me on this journey of self-discovery. While I have not yet reached that full state of enlightenment consciously, I can nevertheless share with you my experiences and what I have learned thus far on my journey, which has propelled me towards that desired state of enlightenment, as I have vastly improved my physical health, mental health, and spiritual health, which include my overall sense of well-being. Indeed, I feel satisfied that I have made good progress in embodying more divine light and consciousness in this life. To what degree, I cannot say, but I acknowledge the progress I am making in this respect, which allows me to feel quite happy and content to share this information with you. In this talk, I first present that which limits our ability to be more enlightened, and then I present what we can do about it. The path of which I speak is a major highway in developing greater mental good health and well-being holistically. First of all, there are many paths to enlightenment, and so I am sharing my particular path together with what I have learned and am continuing to learn as I progress on my own individual path towards that august and natural state known as enlightenment. I do so with the express intention that my story may inspire you to consider methods of developing your own enlightenment by experiencing the following 6 points. Number 1, finding more of your own internal balance. Number 2, discovering and actualizing more of your individual and unique innate human potential. Number 3, developing, accessing, and embodying more of your innate consciousness. Number 4, expanding more of your conscious awareness, which is different to consciousness. This is the awareness that you have of being conscious and being consciously aware of your developing innate consciousness. Number 5, developing more mental good health by improving the way you think and perceive. For example, the glass is half full, not half empty. Number 6, developing a greater sense and experience of well-being by making appropriate life-supporting choices. This is very, very important. Everybody's actual path to enlightenment is different, yet the above 6 points I feel are the same for everyone to experience as a result of one's efforts to develop more of our innate human potential. To say there is a path to enlightenment is just a figure of speech, because in reality, there is no path. In the holy texts, the path is referred to as the pathless path or the path of no path. This, unfortunately, is where verbal language demonstrates its limitations, for we attempt to describe the indescribable with mere words. This understanding is supported by the knowledge that homeostasis and enlightenment already do exist deep within each one of us, but which is obscured by inner obstacles, limitations of perception, and hurdles to overcome. This concept is exemplified by the sun, which is always shining its light, even though it can be obscured by clouds. Remove the obstacles, and we are enlightened just as the sun shines. Other limitations include the average human being's inability to see more than a very narrow band of the light spectrum, which scientists believe to be under 5%, while others say about 0.005%, which is quite shocking to me. It's even shocking to me that we see less than 5%, never mind this 0.005%. This means that we only see less than 5% of what physical form makes up in our third dimensional reality here on planet Earth at this time. In other words, we do not see more than 95% of all physical life. That is shocking. This is because we can only see that which reflects light. And if we can only see less than 5% of the entire light spectrum, that is our visual limitation. What many do not see, they disbelieve. If another can see that which others do not see. I will discuss this a little bit more. I'm going to interject here. On my website, anthonyaltman.net, that's ANTHONYALTMAN.net, on the health and wellness page, I talk about consciousness, and I do believe that I give an exercise where one standing with their nose touching a wall sees a very, very small part of the wall. And if you take one step backwards, your perception of the wall increases exponentially. And that if you have taken that step backwards and you see much more of the wall and pictures on the wall and windows and doors, and you are talking to somebody who's still got their nose touching the wall and cannot see what you see, and you tell them, they will actually disbelieve you. They will call you a liar. They will call you a conspiracy theorist. They will try to harm you or discredit you, destroy you. This is really what I'm meaning. This path of no path to enlightenment is also restricted by those who experience the further following points. 1. From birth, learned beliefs that prevent the perception of anything that opposes that belief. Number 2, from birth, learned patterns of behavior that also limit the perception of from previous incarnations. Number 4, trauma and drama are a significant means to reduce and limit our perception of life and of living, including continuous suffering. 5, an out of balance ego is another major limitation, which vibrates at a lower frequency and thus binds all of us, and restricts us while under its influence, just like the gravity of a large planet will hold us in its influence until we find the means of escape. Number 6, fear. This is a big one. This is another major limitation because FEAR really means false evidence appearing real. In other words, fear is not real. It doesn't exist. It exists as a figment of our imagination. And believing such false evidence will always take you in the opposite direction to enlightenment and liberation from suffering. Number 7, limited conscious awareness. Anyone who lacks sufficient conscious awareness, as I explained with the person with the nose touching the wall, has limited conscious awareness of the wall, will not be able to appreciate the value of self-development, self-mastery, and the development of enlightenment. And such persons require more evolutionary experience to develop sufficient consciousness in order to appreciate their immense, innate, greater human potential. Such people often reincarnate and further develop their ability to embody more consciousness than they are really on their way. However, if anyone has the awareness to want all that in this life, then there are ways and means to help them accelerate the evolutionary process, if they so choose, which I will share later in this talk, and which is a major part of my own studies and focus of attention. Number 8, negative karma. Most of us enter this realm with accumulated negative karma from previous lifetimes, which we are obliged to resolve as soon as we are able to do so. In addition, many continue making more negative karma in this life by poor thoughts, words, and actions that are not life-supporting and which damage themselves, other people, other life forms, and our planet. The sooner we cease these life-damaging actions can we begin to produce life-supporting thoughts, words, and actions. And then we are moving in our desired direction of greater good health and even towards that state of enlightenment. The truth is that enlightenment, mental good health, and well-being are all symbiotic in nature, which is our natural state, homeostasis. Similarly, ignorance of our greater reality, life-damaging thoughts, words, and actions are also symbiotic to produce mental ill health and suffering. Number 9, mental ill health and suffering are not, I repeat, are not a natural state of being. I'm going to repeat that. Mental ill health and suffering are not a natural state of being. Rather, they are created by our own dysfunction that we have learned in one way or another. Our natural state of being is mental good health and well-being, which can only be supported by our life-supporting thoughts, words, and actions, together with the intention to help others in whatever way we can in a life-supporting manner. There is nothing more, there is nothing less. Good health thrives in a healthy environment. Bad health thrives in a dysfunctional environment. There are many more points and conditions to share with you, but I'm sure you'll get the idea of what I wish to present to you, if you do not already know. These 9 points are intended to merely highlight the possibility or the possible causes of mental dysfunction and the lack of overall well-being. Now that I've established the possible causes, or some of them at least, of mental ill health and the lack of well-being, I will now share with you what you can do about it if you so choose. And remember, it's all a matter of choice. However, it is also imperative that you fully understand the basic process of changing one's perception that could be life-damaging to that which can be life-supporting. This has everything to do with how the subconscious mind operates and how you utilize its tendency to your healing advantage. For instance, when you have thought to change a learned belief, a pattern of behavior, or a program in your subconscious mind, you are to think, speak, and act in a manner that supports what you desire, not what you do not want. This is because energy flows wherever you put your attention. For instance, if you say, I do not want to be a failure, the subconscious mind, which does not use words as a language, only pictures and images, that's its language. And the only part of I do not want to be a failure that the mind can picture is the word failure, the concept of failure. And that is what you get, because that is what the subconscious mind believes you actually desire. Conversely, saying, I would like to be successful, the subconscious mind makes a picture of success. And that is what the subconscious mind will support. In other words, a positive attitude is extremely helpful in any healing process. It is logical to consider that life-damaging thoughts, words, and actions cause suffering and ill health. And it is also logical to know that life-supporting thoughts, words, and actions cause good health and a sense of well-being. So my question is, why do we have any life-damaging thoughts, words, and actions in the first place? Now, I know that a lot of what I'm saying is repetitive because universal truth is unchanging, while our perception in this third dimensional reality is ever-changing. And in order to help the ever-changing move in the direction of positive life-supporting situations, it is necessary for us to repeat ourselves, because people require a message to be repeated. It's either 7 or 12 times before they actually register it in their subconscious mind. The reasons why we repeat all that which causes us to suffer can be put into one word, actually: brainwashing. We've all been brainwashed at one time or another. This means that we have been brainwashed or programmed to think, speak, and act in a particular manner that is life-damaging. Believe it or not, this is a most unnatural state, and it took a great deal of energy and various incarnations to arrive at this level of individual dysfunction. However, the good news is that all this can be changed with relative ease and grace, if that is what we choose to experience, and if we are willing to do the following. This is major. Please pay attention. I say this with humility and with love and kindness. Number one, choice. You make a choice, a conscious choice of what you want, such as mental good health, well-being, success, happiness, inner strength, embodying more consciousness, expanding conscious awareness, developing more innate human potential, and demonstrating more divine love and divine compassion for all life, as a few examples of life supporting actions. Number two, intention. Set your inviolate intention, immovable, to achieve that which is life supporting, and keep in focus that intention no matter what happens. This is like charting, plotting your course so that you know where you want to go. Number three, focus. Keep your focus on the goal, on the intention, because if you waver, you may miss the mark, just as if you were on a ship and you took your eyes off the course you plotted. Four, courage. Summon your courage, because as you shift and change the course of your life, your resolve will be tested by creation with seeming obstacles and self doubt to make sure that you really do intend to make positive life supporting changes in your life. Five, tenacity. People who do not have your resolve, your intention, and your courage will attempt to dissuade you from your path of no path. Stay with the program of your choice and intention, no matter what may happen, unless your inner guidance directs you otherwise. Six, achievement. This is how we meet success, experience success. This is the moment when success is yours. As you achieve your intention to the degree you have been able to do so, or the degree to which you have allowed yourself to do so. How do these points apply to gaining mental good health and well-being? I think that's a good question. First, we are to really understand that mental ill health and a lack of well-being, as I mentioned before, are unnatural states and can only be maintained by continuing the life-damaging thoughts, words, and actions that help to produce that state of ill health in the first place. In this sense, as you positively change your thoughts, words, and actions for that which are life-supporting, you have embarked upon the path of your own healing. And life-damaging thoughts can also have been the result of drama, trauma in your life. And we deal with that also with positive thoughts, words, and actions. Furthermore, any unresolved karma, negative karma, is to be resolved as soon as possible. So how do you know what karma that may be? Here is a practice that can help you ascertain what you are to address in order to help heal yourself. Here I offer the 3-point protocol offered by my hero, Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi, a revered holy man of India who lived by Mount Arunachala in India, and who died in 1950, who left us with a simple yet extremely powerful prescription for self-healing as follows. Number one, please pay attention to this one. This is so simple and yet so powerful. I use it every day for years. Number one, self-inquiry. Ask your higher self, your soul, how to heal yourself and how to resolve any negative karma. This is done several, or in fact, many times a day. Start with one question and feel it as you're asking your higher self for assistance. Number two, surrender to self. This means trust your higher self implicitly. After all, it is that wise part of you who does know. Number three, pay attention. Please pay attention. Whenever you ask your higher self anything in earnest and with sincerity, feeling it with your heart, there will always be a reply from creation. However, creation has a soft voice and a gentle manner. So it is up to you to pay attention to whatever results, signals, signs, and directions you are able to observe, which can be a direct result of your supplication to your higher self. This 3-point protocol may seem somewhat simple, which it is, yet is, at least for me, one of the most powerful means of helping myself to heal that I have ever practiced. Another practice to achieve self-healing is by practicing forgiveness. This is something people I find are not doing, certainly not doing enough. This is a huge lesson for most people because they just don't know how to forgive those who have trespassed against them and how to forgive oneself for thoughts, words, actions that have been life damaging to themselves and others. I have used the Ho'oponopono forgiveness practice from Hawaii, which has also helped me immensely, which is as follows. It is spelled H-O apostrophe, capital O, P-O-N-O, P-O-N-O. This is how it goes. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. However, I felt this required some modification, so this is how my version goes. I'm sorry. Please forgive me as I forgive you and myself. Thank you, and I thank myself. I love you as I love myself. Now, when you talk about yourself, it's not the ego. It is your greater self, your soul, your complete self, the integral, complete self of creation. Either version is to be said as often during each and every day, feeling this sentiment in your heart so that it can be heartfelt. Another practice that can be extremely helpful in self-healing is the practice of a formal technique of meditation. This practice has a profound beneficial effect upon body, mind, and soul, which includes mental health and overall well-being, overall well-being. Meditation has a specific purpose, which is to help encourage your mind to penetrate the various layers of the mind and experience its source, the source of thought where the magic really happens. Therefore, a prescribed time-tested technique is
Process.
the best way to go. An easy-to-learn technique, which is free, is the empty bowl meditation. Here is a link to learn how to do it. I cannot give it to you here because I will be here too long, and I'll just give you the link. You go on the internet and you can find it. And this is the link. I will say it out loud and then I'll spell it for you. ayurveda.com/empty-bowl-meditation. It's spelled as follows: ayurveda.com/empty-bowl-meditation. This meditation technique and many others can be easily found on the internet. However, what you cannot learn so easily, now this is important, so easily from written instructions, what you cannot learn so easily from written instructions is better conveyed by a teacher of meditation or one who knows. You see, if you are meditating incorrectly, for example, you are subconsciously concentrating, you will reduce the benefits considerably and may even experience some slight headache. This is the signal to let go and allow the process to be as natural as possible. If and when your mind wanders, rather than concentrating on the technique, allow your mind to wander, and as soon as you are aware of it wandering, gently bring back your mind to the technique. There are ways and means to meditate. There's more than this. And so if you are interested and you would like to ask me any questions, you can please do so after after my talk, my lecture here, or you could even contact me on my website, and I will give it to you again at the end of this talk. You can send me a message on the contact page. Another meditation technique is the So-Hum meditation. S-O, another word, H-U-M meditation, which is also free and is easily accessible on the internet. And here is one such link. I'll just say it out and then I'll spell it. Yes. mindfulnessminutes.com/the dash power dash of dash so dash hum dash mantra. And mindfulness is MINDFUL, one L, MINUTES.com/ the dash power dash of dash so dash hum HUM dash mantra. Other meditation techniques like transcendental meditation, TM, from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And there's also a Kriya Yoga technique from Sri Sri Ravi Shankar and his movement, The Art of Living, and another Kriya Yoga technique from the Self-Realization Fellowship of Paramahamsa Yogananda. I've experienced these, and they're wonderful, and there are many, many more. You just have to find one that with what you resonate with. Now, another modality that can help you change your life-damaging learned beliefs and learn patterns of behavior and learn programming that just do not support mental good health and well-being is the art of affirmations. This is a modality I have previously used with extraordinary results, and I can recommend its use without any reservation whatsoever. However, it is imperative to know how to practice this modality. For instance, affirmations are used to change whatever belief or program are lodged in the subconscious mind, and therefore requires necessary repetitions to override what the negative program is. Let me use the phrase that we're going to use as an affirmation. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, which is Sanskrit for salutations to Ganesh, Ganapati, whom I acknowledge, something like that. Ganesh is the Indian patron of protection, the removal of obstacles, and of healing. By invoking his energy, you're inviting a huge opportunity to help you remove those limiting thoughts, words, and actions so that you may change them for such that are life-supporting and help you be limitless. This is to be said out loud as often as you can during each and every day for a prescribed number of weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or even 6 weeks, depending upon your choice, resolve, and application. I would say that do it at least for an hour. Use a mala beads that will help you. They've 108 repetitions per round of mala beads. Now, this is important information, and most people don't understand this. Affirmations act in a similar way to sine waves. Sine waves are a type of wave in physics, which are waves of energy which obviously have amplitude and wavelength. And when you speak such an affirmation, a wave pattern forms because your thought and your words create this wave pattern. If your next thought after you've said the affirmation is negative and negates the positive affirmation, like Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, oh, I don't think this is going to work. The affirmation is cancelled out and your efforts are wasted. The positive pattern of energy wave created by the affirmation is met now with a negative pattern of energy with the same amplitude and wavelength but inverted, which cancels both waves out and you're left with nothing. Therefore, a positive wavelength meeting a negative wavelength cancels each other out. This is why so many people, not knowing this, fail in affirmation success, and then they discount the value of affirmations as a valuable means to help them change a subconscious program. I can also recommend the use of hypnotherapy, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and emotional freedom technique, EFT, also known as tapping, that can help one change a learned program. Hypnotherapy and NLP require a practitioner to help you, while you can learn EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping, yourself and apply it on yourself by yourself. However, you can only do that if you really know what you're doing and if you have the resolve to do it. There are many people who just don't have that. They require somebody to help them. However, there are plenty of EFT practitioners who can also help you. All can be accessed on the internet. I can also suggest a psychologist with whom you may trust and who also has a holistic approach to healing. Finally, I can fully recommend a process that can be of significant assistance in utilizing karma, spiritual agreements, and contracts. I fully recommend a process that can be of significant assistance in utilizing karma, spiritual agreements, and contracts of limitation of this third dimensional reality beyond time and space. That can also include various forms of addiction, when we may have given our power away to another person or something else, substance, which this process can help us to reconnect with our I am presence, our true and authentic self. This modality is called the reclamation of self. It's something I've been working on for many, many years. And it is a simple act of reading out loud, a written text. The actual text and introduction with full explanation can be found on my website, anthonyaltman.net, on the health and wellness page. And I will repeat my website again and spell it out for you at the end of this talk. But please go to that. You can even copy it, print it, and speak it out loud with feeling, and do it as many times a day as you can. It is a great way of making null and void contracts, agreements, and any arrangement that you have agreed consciously or subconsciously that no longer apply to you. And it is extremely potent and helpful. Now, as you can hear and see, this talk is a little different because I'm providing modalities, techniques, and practices that can assist anybody virtually to help themselves heal, or at the very least, provide some credible alternative avenues to achieve as much healing as is possible, depending upon your own attitude and application. It is extremely helpful in any healing to realize that on a higher frequency of vibration, being extremely subtle, each of us has created or co-created the reality we are currently experiencing. And this requires that we take full responsibility for our thoughts, words, and actions. Many people like to blame circumstances, situations, and other people for whatever they are experiencing they're not happy with. And the truth is, on a spiritual level, that we create everything ourselves. Sometimes other people can be messengers or participate in what we're experiencing, and in this way we are co-creating it, but we are to be responsible for everything. And this is how our choice to self-heal, self-discover, self-empower, and develop more self-mastery becomes so powerful, because we know that we can make these positive changes ourselves because we were instrumental in the challenges that we have been experiencing. And these challenges really can be regarded as opportunities, lessons to help us. So once we've learned the lesson, it's no longer negative. The truth is that our experience of life and what karma we create for ourselves are entirely governed by what we think, what we speak, and the actions we perform. Or silence when speaking is required. This is also important. And non-action when action is required. And the reasons why we do any of them or not do any of them. You are potentially a most powerful spiritual being having a human experience, and you have the means, the power, the ability, one way or another, to put into effect your own healing and to develop your own self mastery. You have the power, each one of us, to become enlightened. All we are to do is to embark upon that path of no path. In conclusion, it is imperative that more people become aware of the truth that there are a few, just a few people who want to dominate everybody else on this planet. The truth is that there are these few people and they want domination, full control. The only reason this small group of people or cabal has succeeded so well is because the majority of the people do not know the truth. And most of the majority of the people do not even want to know the truth. Well, most of a large portion, possibly 30 to 40%, maybe even more. And because they don't know the truth and they don't want to know the truth, they have enabled the cabal to succeed in their nefarious agenda, whereby they are about to fulfill their dreadful intention. We are at the moment on this planet experiencing an existential threat, and it is up to you and me and everybody else, as many people as possible, to empower ourselves as much as we can so that we can say no to this cabal, that we can change the course that humanity seems to be on at the moment. In this sense, I wish to quote to you the professor of psychology, Matthias Desmet of Belgium, who is a professor of psychology, who tells us that 30% of the world population knows the truth, while 40% are sitting on the fence, not really knowing the truth, and they are willing to conform with the herd mentality, which he calls mass formation psychosis, and will follow those with the loudest voices, whether it's good or evil, especially when it's evil, and they will follow anyway to their detriment. And this is why it's called mass formation psychosis. The last group of 30% do not know the truth, do not want to know the truth, and have chosen to take heed of the lies and deception perpetrated by this group of people we call the cabal, which intends to disenfranchise the people, period. This group of people are hardcore, this 30%, and nothing will shift their resolve or self-destruction unless, of course, a miracle occurs in their current lives. Nevertheless, future incarnations will help them learn a better way to live. To avoid the sixth mass extinction of the human race, which has occurred 5 times before with few survivors and which took thousands of years to recover, the majority of the people are to say no, thank you, to that which is life damaging, and to say yes, please, to all that which is life supporting. The wisdom is to know the difference. Until that happens, there will be no change, and the only avenue available to those who are awake is to do what they can to heal, to help heal themselves, develop more consciousness from within, and this may obviate the requirement of reincarnating and doing this all over again. Oh boy. As we raise our frequency of vibration, we are developing the ability to live in higher dimensional realities. And the game of life on a macroscopic level opens up with opportunities that were hitherto hidden from us. My intention of this talk, and I'm coming to the end now, thank you for bearing with me, is to inspire and motivate anyone who requires such healing to embark upon their path, your path, my path, our path, the path of no path, of regaining our physical good health, mental good health, soul good health, and greater well-being, happiness, and success all of which are your divine right, our divine right. If we allow such to occur naturally, unimpeded by any self imposed limitation. Planet Earth is engulfed in a tsunami of evil and darkness currently, and the only solution is to bring in more light, enlightenment, which dispels the darkness. Please join me and become an emissary of light. Thank you for listening to me, and I truly hope I have provided you with information that can be of help to you in your own self-healing. If you have any questions, please go to my website, anthonyaltman.net, ANTHONYALTMAN.net, and send me a message on the contact page. Namaste, and thank you very much.
I have a question. That what do you believe that enlightenment is an ongoing process or a final destination?
Everything that ends has a new beginning. And enlightenment, I feel, is certainly in this reality, this third dimensional reality, where it's very heavy, dark, limited, is where within our consciousness there is so much light that there is no darkness, there's no shadows. And where there is light, there is no darkness. And that is how I perceive enlightenment to be. And where there is light, everything is visible. As everything that is permitted for us to see according to our level of consciousness. And I'm not really able to talk about levels of consciousness because I cannot talk from that which I don't really know. I know that we are rising in consciousness, and when we reach different levels, the reality is different. But when we have sufficient light in our minds, in our bodies, in our cells, in our body, we have complete good health, complete mental good health, and clear minds. We can see the truth. We can see reality in all its bright light. That's my take on it.
Thank you, sir. In last, I want to ask to you that what conclude message do you want to give to all of us?
Well, that's a very good question. Thank you. Because we are experiencing on this planet at the time, everywhere, from India to America, from Greenland to Australia, everywhere. We are experiencing now the potential of great disaster on this planet. And to avoid this great disaster, which could cause the sixth mass extinction of humanity, we require more people to wake up, to see the truth, to say no, to take back their power. The only reason we're in this mess at the moment is because so many people have given their power away to something or somebody. You have a dictator in Venezuela, and you have, well, let's use that as an example. He's a dictator. And the only reason how you can have a dictator is when the people agree. You cannot, one person cannot control 10 million, 12 million, 50 million people. There is a beautiful visual that of a picture drawn by somebody where you have people kneeling and one person with a whip in front of them, making them wheel down, and they're kneeling, they're on the floor. And then the next picture is when the people are standing and they won't kneel, and the person with the whip is kneeling. because the people will not give their power away through fear. They will have courage. This is what I was talking about in this talk. We require courage so that we don't fall foul, give in to fear. And I honestly ask anybody, if you're in doubt, connect. You can write to me on my website or through Samyak, through you, Tanisha. Let's talk. It is so important that we talk about these things. If you don't know what to do, talk about it to your friends, because as soon as you choose to start talking about it, creation will support you. Then all the forces of good will come and say, okay, you want to talk about it. But most people don't want to talk. I have just made, excuse me, I have so much to say about this. I've just made a video on YouTube, and it's called the three wise monkeys. And the traditional three wise monkeys, I'm not sure what you have in India, but in Europe, the three wise monkeys are, I see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And I say, I have three monkeys. They are wiser than the traditional three monkeys, because my three monkeys say, see the truth, hear the truth, speak the truth. And if we could just do that, if we are willing to listen to opposing ideas and talk without bias, the more people who are willing to embrace positive change, we can make positive changes on this planet, and we can change everything. This is my message to humanity. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for giving your precious time and precious knowledge to all of us. Again,
Thank,
thank you so much.
and thank you, my dear. That is the end. And until next time, kind regards to everybody in Divya Karuna. Namaste to you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye. Bye.